Muscle is a contractile tissue of animals and is derived from the mesodermal layer of embryonic germ cells. Muscle cells contain contractile filaments that move past each other and change the size of the cell. They are classified as skeletal, cardiac, or smooth muscles. Their function is to produce force and cause motion. Muscles can cause either locomotion of the organ itself or movement of internal organs. The muscle fiber is composed of sarcoplasmic reticulum, myofibril, sarcomere, myosin, and actin.
There are three types of muscle. Skeletal muscle or voluntary muscle is anchored by tendons to the bone and is used to effect skeletal movements such as locomotion and in maintaining posture. Though this postural control is generally maintained as a subconscious reflex, the muscles responsible react to conscious control like non-postural muscles. An average adult male is made up of 42% of skeletal muscle, and an average adult female is made up of 36%. Smooth muscle or involuntary muscle is found within the walls of organs and structures such as esophagus, stomach, intestines, bronchi, uterus, urethra, bladder, blood vessels, and their erector pila in the skin. Unlike skeletal muscle, smooth muscle is not under conscious control. Cardiac muscle is also an involuntary muscle, but is more akin in structure to skeletal muscle and is found only in the heart.
The skeletal muscle is composed of long fibers surrounded by sarcolemma. The fibers are elongated cells containing many nuclei and clearly display longitudinal and cross striations. Skeletal muscle is also called a voluntary muscle. Most skeletal muscle is attached to portions of the skeleton by connective tissue attachments called tendons. Contractions of skeletal muscles serve to move the various bones and cartilages of the skeleton. Skeletal muscle forms most of the underlying flesh of vertebrates.
The smooth muscle, visceral or involuntary muscle, is composed of spindle-shaped cells, each having a central nucleus. The cells have no cross striations, although they do exhibit faint longitudinal striations. Stimuli for the contractions of smooth muscles are mediated by the autonomic nervous system. Smooth muscle is found in the skin, internal organs, reproductive system, major blood vessels, and the excretory system.
The cardiac muscle tissue composes most of the vertebrate heart. The cells, which show both longitudinal and imperfect cross striations, differ from skeletal muscle primarily in having centrally placed nuclei and the branching and interconnecting of fibers. Cardiac muscle is not under voluntary control. It is supplied with nerves from the autonomic nervous system, but autonomic impulses merely speed or slow its action and are not responsible for the continuous rhythmic contraction characteristic of living cardiac muscle.
The efferent muscle of the peripheral nervous system is responsible for conveying commands to the muscles and glands, and is ultimately responsible for voluntary movement. Nerves move muscles in response to voluntary and autonomic signals from the brain. Deep muscles, superficial muscles, muscles of the face, and internal muscles all correspond with dedicated regions in the primary motor cortex of the brain, directly anterior to the central sulcus that divides the frontal and parietal lobes.
The efferent muscle of the peripheral nervous system is responsible for conveying sensory information to the brain primarily from the sense organs like the skin. In the muscle spindle conveys information about the degree of muscle length and stretch to the central nervous system to assist in maintaining posture and joint position. The sense of where our bodies are in space are called proprioception, the perception of body awareness. This can be demonstrated by anyone closing their eyes and waving their hand around. Skeletal muscle. This type of muscle is composed of long fibers surrounded by a membranous sheath, the sarcolemma. The fibers are elongated, sausage-shaped cells containing many nuclei and clearly display longitudinal and cross striations. Skeletal muscle is supplied with nerves from the central nervous system, and because it is partly under conscious control, it is also called voluntary muscle. Most skeletal muscle is attached to portions of the skeleton by connective tissue attachments called tendons. Contractions